28-year-old Briana Johnson was strangled and stuffed inside the trunk of her boyfriend's car. Victor Campbell Jr. is now being charged with her murder and several other felonies involving the untimely and gruesome death of Briana Johnson out of Houston, Texas. I wish this was not the case, because it seems as if headline upon headline describes the very same scenario about beautiful women being murdered at the hands of their intimate partners. Now, this story really hit home for me because on Tuesday morning, I found out that a relative, a younger cousin of mine, 37 years old, was also found dead in her apartment. She was involved with a very abusive man who had violent tendencies and previous behaviors that were disturbing, like pulling guns on her family. I am still trying to help my cousins, her mother, the family process that. But what I have found is that this is it's becoming such a common practice. And so what we need to do is really think about background checks, being mindful of somebody's behavior, the way they talk to you, and various other things. Philip, this story is out of Houston, Texas, but my cousin is here in Kansas City. So we're putting her service together as I'm speaking to you. Delores Jones, the comeback coach, is my name. I simply want to show you how to bounce back better, not bitter, and better than ever before through life experiences and bad decisions. Feel free to go ahead and hit the button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's Delores Jones TV. And for those of you riding along with me on Facebook, it's so good to see you again. Please like and share the video. What we're talking about is a 28-year-old beautiful YouTuber who was a makeup artist named Briana Johnson. She was also a college graduate. She was making things happen for herself. And then she got involved with 35-year-old Victor Campbell Jr., who's also in Texas. I remember seeing the video on her vlog, like that's when you take videos of the person you're dating, and you put it all on Facebook. And now they say don't judge a book by its cover, but when I saw the caliber of woman that she was, and I looked at this guy, the first thing I thought was, what is she doing with him? What is she doing with him? You know, sometimes certain things just don't look right. Ladies, if you take the time to upgrade yourself, to get your degree, to start your career, and you have a future in mind, stop trying to save men who have made poor decisions and have gone away to prison, and they're back out again. Now, sadly, sometimes men who are violent, there's no history of their violence. Why? Because women don't share. Women don't share. We're embarrassed. We don't think somebody's going to believe us. Somebody may say, I told you so. That's beside the point. The point is, we want you alive. Now, I can speak to this thing on various angles. I've been in a similar situation, but I got out. I didn't get out unharmed, But I got out. And I got to working on Delores, and I got to healing, because I wasn't in just one relationship like that. I was in about 4, but 2 of them I was married to the men. Okay? Briana Johnson, successful, beautiful, was sleeping with the enemy. See, if a man says to you, I will kill you, you must believe him. If a person pulls guns on your family or threatens to hurt your family, you must believe them. And I know sometimes we don't want to tell our family because we think that the punk or the coward is going to make do on his promise. And some of them do. But I wouldn't give up without a fight. I don't care who he is. Some people just don't belong together. It's kind of like, I don't know what it is. You know, back in the day, they used to have some word called Captain Save a Hoe. This ain't even about saving hoes. This is about saving yourself. This is about recognizing that there are men who are not sane, who have a history of family violence, as in the case with Briana Johnson and this Victor Campbell Jr. out of Houston, Texas. He had several charges involving family violence. His whole body, now listen, I don't have anything against tattoos, but if you pay attention to the tattoo, it should tell you something about a person. I mean, personally, I don't have any, not that I haven't thought about it, but if I see a man with tattoos with guns all on him, and drugs and alcohol and hateful words and graveside stones, baby, I already know what he's thinking about. There is nothing that we have in common. So sometimes we have to shut these guys down with these sad stories. Carlton, don't come for me. I'm trying to be serious. Delores Jones is my name, the comeback coach. I show you how to bounce back better than ever before through your life experiences and bad decisions. You can follow me here on YouTube as well, Delores Jones TV. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification button, and as well as Facebook. Now, y'all know it takes effort to do these videos, and so as a journalist, I would like for you to support my efforts and simply hit the link to my Cash App, $ my comeback coach, or PayPal, DoloresInspiresMe@yahoo.com. And we are back. I'm discussing a case of a beautiful 28-year-old young woman who was strangled. He strangled her by his hands. Strangled by her man. He stuffed her in the trunk of his car and drove off. He just happened to be speeding. And so the deputies, highway patrol, noticed it. He started to pull over, and then he took them along in a high-speed chase and eventually wrecked his car. Now, they didn't know that the beautiful 38-year-old girl was in 28. Was she 28? I want to say 28. 28. She was 28. He's 35. Was in the trunk of his car, dead. Now, as the story goes outside of on ABC and all these other news outlets, this guy, Victor Campbell Jr., was in this young woman's apartment. Now, see, she lived on a completely different side of town. He lived on a side of town she probably would have never, ever, ever have gone to. Because you just don't belong in certain areas, especially if you know the culture of the neighborhood or the culture of that particular community. Now, you can play crazy all you want to, but not all black people are created equal. And not all white people are created equal. And not all black men are bad. And not all white men are bad. Men can be bad because they make poor choices. But ladies, at the end of the day, the choice is yours. Victor, this was premeditated. Victor covers up, allegedly at this point, the camera on one side of the building where he was going to do his dirt. But he didn't realize there was another camera shining on it, watching him stuff this young lady's dead, lifeless body in the trunk of his car and drove off in the morning. It was morning time. She didn't deserve that. But as I kept reading and looking at some of her videos, I saw one video of this beautiful young woman. Now it had to be Sam's Club, because I know Sam's Club. And so she's following him with a live video. Now he's pushing, the buggy, and you can see these tattoos. I couldn't see what they look like. And then she's saying to him, "Oh, baby, get that. Okay, baby, put it in the basket." So he puts it in the basket, and then she, you see her asking him to put something else in the basket. Now, we never get to see the front of his face, but she's following him. Now, personally, I'm thinking, why is she following this man through the store, filming him? I mean, y'all just grocery shopping. So then she's going out to the car, and she's like, "Baby, you already got the keys." Then there's another video of her and the guy out at dinner, beautiful scenery. And I believe it was for her birthday. And one of the stories said her friends were like, "Who is that? Who is he?" They were concerned. They had questions. But now she's dead, and they will never find the answers. Why would she hang out with somebody who's not even in her same level? He's not even the caliber of guy that she should have even entertained. Remember, you can't help who attracts you, who you're attracted to, but you can help who you decide to entertain. Now, I didn't want to do this, but this story also reminded me of a classmate of mine who's now been gone since 2008. Her name was Daisha Hatchett Wright. We graduated from FL Schlegel. The year was 2008, and I remember it because I was right in the midst of a situation. And I was dating this guy, and somebody had broken my house, and I believe it was the guy. So a friend of mine hands me the Kansas City Star, and I look at the front of the Kansas City Star, and I said, "Oh, that young woman is beautiful." And I kept reading, and it was my classmate. I was devastated. Sunday morning, her family found out that she had been shot in the head by a guy she was dating. Nobody knew who he was. And he said it was self-defense. Because the way he told the story, or as the story goes, they were out at a club and they were drinking. And witnesses say that she started hitting him. And then he says he left the club and she kept calling him. They were at a park, and then he left to go home, and then she called him again. He said he called his brothers. He said he opened the door, and before he knew it, she had walked in. And then she started fighting him again. So he grabbed his gun, and he shot her in the head. He said self-defense. Boy, I will slap you in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Some of these guys try to get their lies straight. No, and no. Ladies, please listen to what I'm telling you. I don't care how fine he is. I don't care if he makes your toes curl. If he says something along the lines that he's going to hurt you, you need to pack your and get out. Or put him out, or leave him alone. Now, this is a true story. I was dating this guy. Oh my God. Let me tell y'all something. He treated me like, he called me beautiful Delores. Beautiful Delores. He was gentle. He would feed me pineapples and grapes and strawberries and anything I wanted, from cheese and crackers to certain jams, very expensive jams. Baby, he gave me the best pedicure I had ever had. I wanted to go find my nail techs and slap him and get a refund. Honey, let me tell y'all something. The intimate moments were amazing. They got so good, I just kept staying the night. Now I have my own place. And I was even able to bring my dog because he had a dog. But one morning, we are in the kitchen and he's getting ready to cook. Yes, he could cook. And I'm sitting on the papa sign and I'm admiring him and thinking about the night before, honey. I was thinking about the night before and just going, he's so fine. Sexy. Beautiful smile. But all of a sudden he said to me, I quote, Delores, if you ever hurt me, I would F you up. But he used the word. Then he repeated it to make sure that I heard it. I'm shocked and stunned. I'm like, wait a minute. We just had an amazing time last night. I mean, you fed me pineapple and anything I wanted. You just said, baby, what do you want? I mean, you've been that guy. You've been there for me. And all of a sudden this happens? And I didn't do anything to cause you to do that. And immediately I'm like, oh no, I got to cut him loose. But I had already created a soul tie before he showed me that. So now I'm like, okay, God, I know. I shouldn't have created the soul tie. Okay, now I got to get the hell out of here. And eventually, as time went on, it became apparent he was fooling around with some other people. I found out, and we actually broke up the day he was helping me move. And, my cousin, I called and said, hey, I need you to come on over here because I got to fire this guy. And he said, Dee Dee, don't fire the man before you move. Fire him after you move. So anyway, sometimes you got to bust a move really quickly. And, he wanted to go to church with me. He said he wanted to know God. But I'm going to tell you what Cadillac Willie told me. He was a cop in Kansas City, Kansas. Cadillac Willie said, you can't save the devil. Because some of us just want to help a brother out. I remember helping a brother out who was sitting on the curb, Gregory Hudson. I'll never forget his name. Gregory was looking sad. And by that time I was, about helping people go back to school. And I'm like encouraging him. And he's telling me about all these horrible things going on. And I'm like, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. I took him to church with me. We went to the college where I had graduated from and where I was the director of career development. And he got enrolled. And I'm like, this is cool. He was horrible at math. So I was a math tutor. So he asked me, would you tutor me? Of course I'm a tutor you. I want to see you win. Yeah. So we're in a study room one day at Donnelly College. And I got my Bible. And we're studying. And he says, Delores. Yeah. He says, does God forgive you for murder? And I said, I said, Gregory, God forgives you for anything. He said, can you find it for me in the Bible? I'm looking. I can't find it. I said, but I know it's in there, but I couldn't find it. So a couple of days later, he asked me the same thing. Delores, does God really forgive you for murder? I said, yes, he forgives you for murder. And then I just, I went on home. He had been to the church and everything, attended church a couple of times. And then one day I'm at home and my phone rings and it's Gregory. And I did not give him my phone number to call me at home during the weekend. He said, what you got on? Gregory was on the outside of my apartment. Babies, I cut the lights off. I fell to my knees and I crawled into the bathroom. And then that's when I called the police. So he kept calling and now